Hey guys, Quinn here. Today we're going to be showing you how to do logs 3 different ways: intermediate, advanced, and pro, otherwise known as the double blip, the JapZap, and the splatter technique. Alright guys, so first up is this intermediate log right here, and we are going to be using the double blip technique to get up and over this cleanly.
Okay guys, so the first step to the double blip technique is to determine where we are going to pull our wheelie. A good rule of thumb is to take the height of the obstacle and to turn it into the distance away from the log. Here I will draw a line just to give myself a good idea of where I should begin my wheelie. When we pull our wheelie, we will want to aim our front tire for about 3/4 of the way up the obstacle. This will compress the suspension and help us blip over the log cleanly and smoothly. Now that the suspension is compressed, our next step is to apply our second blip of throttle while simultaneously unweighting the suspension. I am also applying a little bit of clutch along with the throttle blip. Notice here how I use my legs to help de-weight the suspension. This helps the bike follow up and over the log with little interference. So once we are on top of the log, the last thing I'm going to do is pull the clutch in and simply shift my weight backwards. This will help eliminate spinning on the log as well as make for a nice controlled exit off of the obstacle.
Okay, so up next is our advanced log. You can tell it's much taller and a lot steeper. So for this technique, we're going to be using the JapZap.
Okay, so same thing as the double blip, we have to determine where to pull our wheelie, and since this obstacle is a lot larger, we're going to have to pull our wheelie further back. Here again, I am aiming for the front tire to hit 3/4 of the way up the obstacle. This will compress the suspension. Similar to the double blip, the next step will be de-weighting the suspension and simultaneously giving it a burst of throttle. Along with the burst of throttle, we will be doing an aggressive clutch pop. This will allow the rear tire to fly up off of the ground into the log. De-weighting, throttle, and clutch pop are key. If you do not do these 3 things all in sync, the rear tire will fail to leave the ground. Notice my clutch finger here. That aggressive pop out is what we need to get rear wheel lift. Watch and listen again in real time. And lastly, we are pulling the clutch in, shifting our weight back, and exiting the obstacle smoothly and safely.
Alright guys, so last but not least, we have our pro obstacle here. Really big log. And for this, we're going to be using a splatter technique.
For a splatter, it always helps to have a kicker of some sort. Usually a rock works, but in my case, this little piece of wood does the trick. This acts as a takeoff point and also helps me get lift. First thing I'm doing is coming into the obstacle and weighting the suspension. I am also building revs in the engine for a nice big clutch burst. Once the front wheel makes contact with the kicker, I begin to unweight the suspension and let the clutch fly. You have to lean back here, and this is a full commit move. The goal is for the rear tire to leave the ground and splat into the obstacle. We do not want the front tire to hit the obstacle on the way up. Much like the other 2 techniques, the last thing I'm doing is pulling the clutch in, leaning back, and coasting off of the obstacle smoothly and safely. Keep in mind this is a very advanced level technique. You need to be 100% comfortable with the engine at full revs and be able to control that power with the clutch. So start out small and work your way up to the bigger obstacles.
Alright guys, that does it for the 3 techniques. Thanks for watching. Subscribe for more tips and tricks. See you at the races.